What's going on, guys? Kai here, doing another lore video. Just want to give you a heads up right here. I am testing all the bugs that we have before 1.45. Let me know if you have any new ones down below. Everything here on my known bug list is there with proof of it, and they were tested after 1.45. Let's get into it.
반드시 돌아오게 하겠어.
더 이상 하수인만으로 남지 않아. 이제부턴 나를 위하여 오로지 나만 깨어있을 뿐.
멈춰.
모두들
절대
후회? 하, 네가 누구랑 얘기하는 줄은 아는 거야?
The Bubble Projector Mini Theater. Welcome! You've arrived at the Lakeside Bubble Theater. What should I say? Oh, right. Let's start with an introduction. I'm the Bubble Projector Flower Fairy Snapdragon. I love eating marshmallows and recording all sorts of stories. Everything you see in the Bubble Projector is a memory of mine. Though my memory isn't perfect, if I forget something important, be sure to remind me. Oh, and by the way, please remain silent during the show so you don't disturb the other viewers. Now, let's begin. On a breezy afternoon, strolling through the path in Sephilia, you suddenly hear the hurried sound of footsteps and a series of anxious mutterings. Where is it? Where is it? I clearly remember it was here. Following the sound, you see an approximately 11 or 12-year-old girl with golden hair wearing a fluffy dress, frantically rummaging through her bag, muttering to herself as she searches. Little girl, what are you looking for? Do you need help? The little girl lifts her head. Her large, lake-like eyes blink as if she is trying to think of something. Her hand suddenly freezes in midair and a puzzled expression appears on her face. I'm looking for... She furrows her brows and suddenly taps her head. Ah, I forgot what I'm looking for. Although the little girl seemed genuinely worried, her innocence and awkwardness makes you smile. Don't worry. Maybe try to think of what happened before you came here? Ah, right. The little girl's eyes lit up, and she quickly pulls out a small hand-cranked projector from her pocket. The fish-shaped casting sparkles in the sunlight. She spins the crank rapidly, and a stream of colorful bubbles began to float in the air. The little girl watches each bubble intensely, eventually pointing to a slightly larger blue bubble. This one. Curious, you lean in, and inside the bubble, like a miniature projection, plays a video of the little girl herself. She looks at the camera and says loudly, Remember, tomorrow I must go find the bubble projector handle that fell by the lake. I see. What's your name? I could help you look for it. My name is Snapdragon. Thank you for helping me. The little girl jumped up excitedly. The two of you head to the lake and search for a long time but find nothing. Snapdragon grows more and more discouraged, sitting on a stone by the lake, looking down dejectedly. What should I do? The projector's the only way I can remember things. A way to remember things? Yes, as long as I turn the handle, I can store things I might forget into bubbles. Snapdragon clenches her small hands. I'm not very good at remembering things, so I keep the important ones safe. The green ones are for yesterday. The blue ones are from the day before. The day before? Remember, tomorrow I must go find the bubble projector handle that fell by the lake. You remember what Snapdragon said inside the blue bubble. Suddenly you understand something. Snapdragon, could it be that you've already found the handle yesterday? Snapdragon tilts her head at you, then suddenly widens her eyes. Wait, I think I... She reaches in a small pocket on her dress, and her expression suddenly lightens up. She quickly pulls out the shiny golden handle. I found it! I found it! It was here all along. Snapdragon excitedly holds up the handle and jumps around. Although I find it by myself still, thank you. No need to thank me. I'm just happy to have met you. Then we're friends now. Snapdragon blinks and flashes a bright smile. Can you tell me your name? A few days later, on the same path, Snapdragon excitedly found you. She was holding a special bubble in her hands, one that was a bit larger than the one you'd seen before, faintly glowing with a gold light. This is a gift for you. She carefully handed the bubble to you. Because, well, I just wanted to say thank you. Curiously, you took the bubble and found that it was so light that you could barely feel the weight, yet it was extraordinarily sturdily. With a gentle tap, the inside of the bubble began to project an image. It was Snapdragon and her friends playing in the sea of flowers. They were smiling, flashing a heart-shaped gesture at the camera. She looked so happy, with the sunshine shining in her face and the flower petals fluttering in the breeze. You stared in surprise at the image inside the bubble. This is my favorite memory, said Snapdragon proudly. That day we found the super beautiful flower field, and all the flowers were talking to me. I'm giving this bubble to you, so we can share this memory together. Favorite memory, huh? Then I should give you a memory in exchange. Would that be okay? Snapdragon's eyes lit up immediately, but then she puffed up her cheeks. You have to pick a super special one, because exchanging memories is the most precious gift. Looking at her innocent yet serious little face, you couldn't help but take the matter seriously, even though you have originally said it casually. How could you choose this precious gift, a life or death moment during a battle, an emotionally reunion with a comrade, or a magnificent scenery you saw during your adventure? Snapdragon seemed to sense your dilemma. Patiently waiting, her fingers gently fiddled with the gears of the projector. After a long time thinking, you finally made a decision. The memory I want to give you is... I once helped a little girl find something important to her. Eh? Snapdragon tilted her head, seemingly a little confused. You nodded. Although she eventually found it herself. That day I met a very special friend. It was the most important thing that happened to me recently. Snapdragon cupped the bubble containing your memory with both hands, her wide blue eyes reflecting the multicolored glow from inside the bubble. After a long pause, when Snapdragon looked up again, her eyes were sparkling, and her face was beaming with joy and happiness. This memory is really important. Thank you. She carefully picked the bubble into her projector when it joined a collection of various bubbles, each containing a cherished memory. On an ordinary afternoon, you receive a unique invitation. The color is adorned with childish doodles, which leaves you speechless, but the care put into creating the card made you feel warm inside. The invitation is decorated with colorful bubbles and a crooked line of text. Bubble Screening Special Edition, Snapdragon's Friends. It starts tonight. You must come. Time, 7 p.m. tonight. Curious, you arrive at the designated location right on time. Opening the door, you find yourself in a dimly lit screening room filled with shimmering bubbles. They float in the air, illuminating the entire room. Many flower fairies and residents of Sephilia have all gathered for the event. They are discussing the images inside the bubbles, seemingly just as curious about tonight's screening as you are. In the center of the room stands Snapdragon, wearing her favorite dress with the goldfish pattern. When she spots you, she excitedly waves. "You made it! Now everyone is here. Come sit, it's about to start." You take a seat as instructed, and Snapdragon sits beside you, holding her beloved goldfish projector. She takes a deep breath, her eyes shining with anticipation. "Special screening starts now. I hope everyone likes it." With what she gently turns the handle, and all the bubbles float towards the canvas in front of them, merging into a giant projection. As the music begins, the image starts to play. To your surprise, the first image that appears is yourself. Scenes of you helping the people of Sephilia pick wild fruit, saving injured animals in the forest, fighting monsters to protect merchant canvas caravans, and even moments you thought no one knew about, like sneak into the kitchen for a midnight snack. And then there are other people too. Iris, agonizing over whether to buy lollipops or chocolate. Vulcan and Oren, arguing red-faced over the price of armor repairs. Charlene, dragging adventurers by their ears to pull them out of forbidden areas. Everyone stares at the screen, a mix of familiarity, surprise, knowing smiles, and awkwardness. These small, ordinary moments, when played out on the screen, are woven into something so lively and interesting. It's as if an invisible thread ties everyone in this city together, creating shared memories. And all these memories have been caught by a Snapdragon, stored in her precious bubbles. When the screening ends, the room brightens. Snapdragon looks at everyone with a mix of excitement and nervousness. "So what do you think? Was it good?" The room erupts in applause, but is soon drowned out by even more laughter and chatter. I wasn't that pretty. I wasn't that petty. You're the one who was too much. That's why I rejected like that." "Hey, do you even know what you're saying?" And amid the laughter and chatter, you notice that Snapdragon has quietly stood in the corner of the screening room, observing everyone. From time to time, she used her bubble projector to capture snippets of conversation, her face beaming with happy smile. Time passes, and people start leaving one by one. Some come to thank Snapdragon for the screening. As you chat with others and are about to leave, you suddenly notice that the room, once dim, is now becoming brighter. Turning around, you see Snapdragon shaking the handle of the bubble projector. Every guest who leaves causes a bubble to appear. The more bubbles fill the room, the more radiant it becomes, shimmering in every color of the rainbow. "Snapdragon, what are you doing?" "Making it bright. I want to release lots and lots of bubbles so this room is nice and bright." As few and fewer people remain in the room, the bubbles keep multiplying. The bubbles reflect the memories she just recorded, and Snapdragon's friends watch the projections, commenting and laughing. At times they smile, at other times looking surprised and embarrassed. Friends may leave, and they may be forgotten, but their memories will stay inside the bubbles, always with her. For a moment you don't know what to say, so you just casually ask, "When do you film all this? I didn't even notice." The moment the words leave your mouth, you regret asking. You shouldn't have brought it up. Snapdragon mischievously blinks at you. "Secret?" You know that she has no secrets. These bubbles are, in fact, all of her memories. On a late spring day, you found Snapdragon sitting alone by the lake. Her projector was turning endlessly, but no bubbles appeared. As you approached, you noticed a particular bubble floating in front of her, glowing with an ancient amber hue, as if it held the passage of time within it. "What's this?" you asked gently, sitting beside her. Snapdragon lifts her head, her eyes filling with urgency. It's the promise I made with my friend. I had to come to this lake. There's something very, very important. You look closely at the bubble, noticing that the image inside was blurry. You could vaguely make out the silhouette of a little girl, Snapdragon, sitting by the lake, happily talking to someone in the water. Your friend? Snapdragon stared at the bubble, nodding slowly. Yes, I made a promise with it. We promised. Once we make a promise, we have to keep it, right? But it didn't show up. My friend didn't show up. Is it because I broke my promise? I was such an important memory. Wait a second. You looked at the scene of the bubble and suddenly felt something strange. The lake in the memory was undoubtedly the same lake you were sitting beside now. But the view of the lakeshore was completely different from what you saw in reality. You recognized the design of the flagpole standing on the lake. That was the emblem of the Kabbalah Knights who opened the path of Fire Sword 100 years ago. Flower fairies don't age, but all living beings do. Suddenly I understand something. We can search together for clues, see if we can help you remember. You took her hand, promising to help her recover her lost memories. In the following days, the two of you began a journey to find the lost memories. You questioned the elders in town, flipped through historical records in Sophia Library, and even dove into the lake in search for possible clues. Eventually, by chance, you found a small faded metal box under an old tree by the lake. Opening the box, inside was only a yellowed note with children handwriting. Remember, go find your friend to play every day. You handed the note to Snapdragon. She took it, running her fingers over the words. Her expression shifted to one of surprise, and then, for a moment, she seemed to be lost in thought. It was as if a fragment of the memory flashed across her mind. This is... A tear fell onto the note, and suddenly the paper began to glow. Suddenly it transformed into a small bubble floating in the air. The image inside the bubble became clear. Snapdragon would come to the lake every day and talk to a goldfish in the water, sharing her adventure stories and experiences. The fish would always eagerly flick its tail as if it understood what she was saying. Her long-lost friend? Snapdragon nodded. It was my first real friend. Every day it would wait for me to tell stories. She paused. One day it said it would give me a gift, but then the next day it was gone. You quietly listened, not interrupting her. I waited a long time until dark, but it never came back. Snapdragon lifted her head, gazing at the floating bubble with a warm yet sorrowful smile. It never came back. The memory of her first friend, the last gift behind for her. I just thought of an amazing story. Would you like to hear it? Under the starry night, Snapdragon, sitting with you on the rooftop, suddenly said, Story? You were a bit surprised. Snapdragon suddenly shares fun experiences using the projector, but she never told a story out loud before. Before you could respond, Snapdragon started talking to herself. On a shore, when you first light of dawn, a giant came coming. The giant was a strong and mighty, carrying the mission to defeat the monster. The monster was fierce, covered in thick armor. It showed its claws and sharp teeth, battling the giant. The giant and the monster fought for a day and night, battling until the sky turned dark. Finally, the monster was defeated, and the giant was wounded all over. The giant blood solidified on its skin, turning into thick armor, and its injured arms and teeth became claws and fangs. The giant, now transformed into a monster, let out a despairing howl towards the sky as the new sun rose over the horizon. On a shore, with the first light of dawn, a giant came walking. Hey, wait a minute. This is just a loop, isn't it? Loop? Snapdragon tilted her head, looking at you confusedly. Ah, right, it's a circle. Suddenly, realized, but then seemed content with it. A circle is nice too. A looping story has no beginning and no end, Snapdragon murmured. A story that never ends will never be forgotten. Snapdragon would feel sad about forgotten? Snapdragon tilted her head again, thinking seriously. After a moment, she looked up. If I forgot everything today, tomorrow will be a brand new adventure. It'll be fun. But if I forgot my friends might disappear. Even though I don't remember things from the past very well, now I definitely the time when Snapdragon has the most friends, Snapdragon said, her clear eyes sparkling like stars. Snapdragon wants to always be with everyone. Never forget anyone, Snapdragon. A story that never ends has no charm. But everyone loves Snapdragon, so they become friends with Snapdragon. It was like that before, it's like that now, and it will always be like that. Maybe one can be your friend forever, but there will always be friends to share memories with you and travel by your side. And didn't Snapdragon store all of our important memories in bubbles? That means Snapdragon has never forgotten her friends. But Snapdragon doesn't want to be forgotten either. I won't forget Snapdragon either. Because we're best friends you've exchanged for most precious memories. You produced the memory bubble Snapdragon had given you. With the film glowing with golden light, she smiled happily, sunshine bathing her face as flower petals danced in the wind. The smile from the memory gradually transferred to the Snapdragon before you. Her face blossomed like a flower. Thank you, my best friend.